According to the latest odds, the Las Vegas Raiders are the favorites to sign Daniel Jones if he is released by the New York Giants. I'm Mitchell Renz, host of the Raiders Report, and I'm going to sit up here and tell you this. If the Raiders sign Daniel Jones, it's literally the dumbest move that this organization has ever made, and they have made a lot of really, really dumb moves. If you haven't seen the latest odds, right now the Raiders at plus 300 are the highest odds, the best odds, if Daniel Jones is released from the New York Giants. And you can see there's a lot of other teams on that list, the Saints, the Niners, the Rams, the Dolphins. Quite frankly, being able to predict and project where Jones could potentially play is probably one of the hardest things I have to do in my career, because I don't know anybody that wants Daniel Jones on their football team. If you haven't seen the latest news because you're like, Mitch, this is the Raiders Report, why are you talking about Daniel Jones? I'm talking about Daniel Jones because the amount of times that I have been asked, are the Raiders going to go out and get him, which we'll talk about here in just a moment. I'll even tell you why it's dumb to even consider it. But the Giants benched Jones earlier this week. They have him now as the fourth-string quarterback. Hell, he's working as the scout team safety, and I can already hear it. There's going to be one person down in the comments that's like, Mitch, you said that the Raiders shouldn't go out and get Baker Mayfield when he was the scout team quarterback for the Carolina Panthers. You're not wrong in that statement, but let's be real, Baker Mayfield and Daniel Jones, it's not even close. This is what Daniel Jones had to say today at the time that I am making this video, November 21st. The opportunity to play for the New York Giants was truly a dream come true. I'm extremely grateful to the Mara and Tisch families for the chance to play here. The Giants are truly a first-class organization, and I have nothing but genuine respect and appreciation for the people who built it and who carry on the tradition. I don't know about all y'all, but that sounds like a goodbye speech to me if I've ever heard one. And I can confidently say that I see Daniel Jones either getting released or kind of doing a little bit of a similar situation where it was a divorce of some sort. Very similar to what happened to the Raiders and Derek Carr. The Raiders benched Derek Carr in Week 17. They put in Jarrett Stidham. You go back to the 2022 season, and they did that because of the injury, I guess, guarantees on Daniel Jones' contract. And it's the exact same reason, right? Like, the Saints situation or the Raiders situation with Derek Carr is the exact same, I think, here with the New York Giants and Daniel Jones. Both sides needed to move on. Both sides are looking to get better going forward. And I think, unfortunately, you see divorces like this happen. And yes, they don't always impact the Raiders, but anytime somebody is being linked to the Las Vegas Raiders, I got to be able to sit up here and I got to be able to give my 2 cents. This is just a goodbye from Daniel Jones. He's getting a divorce from the Giants, and it's the exact same thing that happened to Derek Carr. So give me a yes, give me a no. This is going to be the pinned comment here on today's show, which means you're about to get it with the YouTube ad break. While that ad is playing, I want you to scroll on down and you call the shots. Should the Raiders sign Daniel Jones if he is cut by the New York Giants? Give me a yes or give me a no. I made it pretty clear when I started the show. It would be the dumbest move that the Raiders have ever possibly made. And you know what? If you agree with that statement, because I know there's a lot of people that probably, when they tuned into today's show, a lot of people that were like, oh my gosh, Mitch, I can't believe we're talking about it. Quite frankly, I can't believe we're talking about it either. So if you agree with that statement, click that like button right now. So here's why. Signing Daniel Jones is just flat out dumb. He's been a terrible quarterback. Like, why are we wanting to bring in a guy that's getting released/cut when you think about how much money the New York Giants are going to have to eat? And I don't want to hear the, well, we did the same thing with Derek and he can still play and Derek would be the better quarterback on our team. You're not wrong with that. I'd rather have Derek Carr over than Daniel Jones. Like, Jones has been bad this season. Jones was bad last season, and I get it. He has suffered a lot of injuries, and I do think that the injuries have kind of impacted his ability to play quarterback. But even when he was first coming out of Duke, I sat up here on this show, and I sat on a lot of NFL daily shows back in the day, and I talked about how this guy's just never going to be a good quarterback in the National Football League due to a limited skill set, especially in the passing department. I get it. He won a playoff game. I get it. He helped this Giants team be a real awesome story in 2022, but you can't tell me that you actually thought that when he got that contract of $40 million per year that you thought that that was going to be a good deal. He has been a average quarterback since being drafted in round 1. I know it's been a bumpy 6 years in New York, but the numbers speak for themselves. He has not done good. I'm not going to sit up here and say that the Giants maybe have done a great job as an organization, but at the same time, I loved Brian Daboll, and I thought that Brian Daboll was one of the perfect coaches to pair with Daniel Jones because of everything he did for Josh Allen. It's just simply not going to work because the talent simply isn't there. Daniel Jones stinks. Probably because he doesn't use Mando. Heck, I wonder even if Daniel Jones used all the Mando that we got here at the Chat Sports Studios, if it would help him out at all, because he's got a giant problem, and the problem is maybe him. But let's talk about our awesome sponsor here, Mando, because you can control body owner wear anywhere with Mando. New customers get $5 off a starter pack with our exclusive code. That equates to over 40% off your starter pack. Use code CHAT at shopmando.com. That's shopmando.com. They got a brand new deodorant spray. The first ingredient is water, not alcohol, which I love. It's proven to control odor for 72 hours. It's got a 360-degree spray, which is ideal for your balls in those hard-to-reach areas. Mando controls odor for 72 hours. It's clinically proven. I like using Mando because I sweat literally all the time, and because it's a full-body deodorant. I can take it with me on the go, and I can use it on my pits, my package. Heck, I'm talking about stomach and even on my feet. Mando's starter pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice, like mini body wash and deodorant wipes, and free shipping. As a special offer for our listeners, new customers get $5 off a starter pack with our exclusive code. That equates to over 40% off your starter pack. So use code CHAT at shopmando.com. Please support our show. Tell them that we sent you. Smell fresher, stay drier, and boost your confidence from head to toe with Mando. You know what, Daniel Jones? Maybe you do need Mando to boost that confidence from head to toe. Let's go to why signing Daniel Jones is dumb. Aidan O'Connell returns next week. Is Daniel Jones better than Aidan O'Connell? Actually, I don't know. But even if he was, and I mean this, even if he was better than Daniel Jones, with Aidan O'Connell returning next week, if you're the Raiders, you've already made your statement that you're probably going to stick with the quarterbacks that you already got by not going with Desmond Ridder, by sticking with Gardner Minshew during that 2-week bye week, essentially, after the Bengals game. But Jones, he wouldn't be ready to play right away. Like, even if you went out and you signed him today, let's say they end up cutting him on this Friday when you guys are going to see this video. He's not going to play this week. So then what? You're going to have Daniel Jones, Desmond Ridder, Gardner Minshew, and Aidan O'Connell as your quarterbacks? Like, if I'm a coaching staff with all the injuries that we have, I'm not going to try to hold 4 quarterbacks on this team. It doesn't even make any sense. AOC is eligible to return with that fractured thumb. And here's the thing. I think as soon as he's eligible to return, the Raiders are going to have their QB battle between Minshew, between Aidan, because they need to see how big of an issue Luke Getsy is compared to a guy like Scott Turner. And again, I'm not sure that Daniel Jones is better than Gardner Minshew, Desmond Ridder, or hell, even Aidan O'Connell. So subscribe if you agree to the idea that signing Daniel Jones, it's simply dumb. And don't get me wrong, I wish this season was better. I wish I was sitting up here right now talking about the Raiders' Week 12 game against the Denver Broncos. But I also know that not many people give a shit on that. So the amount of questions that I got this week around this guy right here, I was like, you know what, F it. I'm going to make this freaking show. But I think it's a dumb idea, and I think a lot of other people think it's a dumb idea as well. I also want to give a shout out to some real ones. My dad's birthday was November 20th, and I saw a lot of people, seriously, when you guys go down and comment, my dad looks at a lot of the comments as well, and I want to give a huge shout out to Jack, James, Kronos, and Dominique. There were many, many others that said happy birthday to my dad. I love this team because y'all have treated me nothing like, or you guys have treated me nothing like family or nothing but family. Nothing like family. Wow, brutal. Shout out to Oakland. You guys changed me. Let's go to another reason here. It's a waste of money to go out and get Daniel Jones. I don't care if Jones is going to play on the vet minimum deal for the remainder of this season, hell, even for next season. Because I know this, if the Raiders are going to look me confidently in the eyes and go, we're going to sign Daniel Jones next offseason to $1.2 million, I'm going to go, why the hell didn't you do that with Russell Wilson when we made all those damn videos about going out and getting a quarterback at the vet min? Why spend any more money at the quarterback position this season? It's a wasted year. You're 2-8. Even if you bring in Daniel freaking Jones and he wins every single game, you're not making the playoffs, and you're going to look for a brand new quarterback next season. The Raiders need to evaluate this current roster, and even if Jones played at the Met minimum, it's not worth it. Why would you possibly bring him in? So coming up here, Will the Raiders do it? There's a lot of things that I've said would be dumb. I have said that hiring Josh McDaniels would be a failure. I think we can all say it was a failure. I said that Luke Getsy would be a horrific hire if the Raiders decided to do it. Raiders decided to do it. I said if the Raiders were to go out and draft certain players over certain players, it wouldn't work out. The laundry list is long. Cleveland Ferrell, Damon Arnett, Henry Ruggs, Jonathan Abram, Cleveland Ferrell, the list goes on. But just because I say things and just because we think things doesn't mean that the Raiders are going to listen, because we've seen the Raiders go out and do some stupid things. So will the Raiders sign Daniel Jones? I'm going to tell you here in just a moment. But let's kind of go through real quick what this show's been about. Are the Giants going to cut Daniel Jones? This one's for Just Win Babies. Believe it, baby. I'm actually wondering, because I'm making this video, I'm going to be honest, right before Thursday Night Football. And this video is going to come out on Friday. I'm actually wondering if the news is going to happen by the time y'all see this vid. What about signing Daniel Jones? Would it be dumb? Yes, of course it would be dumb. For Just Win Babies. Doesn't help you this year. Doesn't help you next season. I just have no idea what any NFL team, especially the Raiders, would even do it. And then the final thing. Will the Raiders actually sign Daniel Jones? No. Tuck rule, tuck that. I know that we don't have a lot of faith in this organization. And I know a lot of y'all probably doubt Mark Davis, Antonio Pierce, Tom Telesco, whoever, to make the decisions. But not even the Raiders are dumb enough to sign Daniel Jones if he's cut by the New York Giants. It's not going to happen this season. It's not going to happen next season. And the reason why that I know that it's not going to happen next season is because you're not going to tell me that Jones is your starting quarterback. So that means he's the QB2. So that means you have a QB2 battle between Gardner Minshew, Aidan O'Connell. Like the Raiders already have two backup quarterbacks on their roster. We don't need a third backup quarterback. This team is planning on drafting a QB. I'm hoping it's Shador, Cam Ward. Hell, it might even be a guy like Jalen Milroe. So we need to draft a quarterback. And I don't think that the Raiders are going to spend any more money at the QB spot, because when they cut or trade, probably going to have to cut Gardner Minshew next offseason, or you're going to have to do something with Aidan, because I personally would keep Aidan. He's the cheaper backup. You're already going to be throwing money out the door. So throwing even more for Daniel Jones doesn't happen. So here are 5 teams that I could see Jones playing for next season. And I think what you're going to run into the situation is you're going to run into a situation where no team's going to view him as a starting NFL quarterback unless there's a team out there that is really, really trying to tank. But it's not going to happen with Jones. So I'm going to say maybe he could be a backup for Buffalo. Maybe he could be a backup with Washington. Is Carolina crazy enough to put him on there? I don't know. I think the Chargers, him being a backup for Herbert, him being able to work with Harbaugh. And then the Atlanta Falcons, when they decide to move off from Kirk Cousins, they make Michael Penix the starter, and then Cousins ends up backing up Penix. These are the teams that I actually think Daniel Jones could play for.